Hello, I'm Dr. Ramon Martinez, and today I am interviewing Lily and Rudy Tennis. It is Wednesday, March 20th, 2018. They are longtime East San Jose residents. Rudy and Lily, I'm interviewing you because you are longtime residents of East San Jose. When did you move to East San Jose?
In 1964, when we bought this house. It was a 4-bedroom home, and we paid $21,000 in 1964.
Was that a lot of money?
Well, for us at the time, it was a lot of money. You know, our payments were $150 a month, and we thought, oh my God, I don't know how we're going to make it. Of course, the wages were a lot, lower then, and everything was very reasonable.
It was making an average of 130, 140 a week.
And what was your job?
Driver?
We were delivering bread.
Delivering bread, yeah.
For what company?
What was the name of the company?
Colonial Baking.
Colonial Baking.
Oh.
Colonial Baking Company.
Well, before we moved here, we rented a house on 7th Street, and it was a big old house. It was a very nice house. It had a big backyard with this huge fig tree in the back and a little gazebo in the backyard. The kids used to love it because they played there. And then we had a full basement. You could walk in, it was really quite well. Matter of fact, they offered us to buy the house for $14,000. And we should have bought it, but
I thought it was too much.
we didn't think ahead. But then because we wanted a newer house, so that's why we got this one.
Yeah. Okay, I got laid off from the bakery. I didn't get laid off. You know what happens? The company went out of business because we couldn't negotiate the new contract with the union. And that was something that was very upsetting in our lives as workers because we were happy with the wages we were making, but the union insisted that demanding more wages and more benefits. And the company put an ultimatum on them, they say, we cannot afford to pay the wages that you are demanding. So if you don't abide, we'll turn over the business to you guys. You can have it for free. So they went out of business and I ended up with no work. I was very fortunate that looking for another job, I saw the newspapers and they needed a bilingual trainee for the jewelry business at Crescent Jewelers. And I was familiar with Crescent Jewelers because when I was on radio in San Francisco, I was doing the promoting for the jewelry stores, Crescent Jewelers. So when I called the lady that I was already familiar with, she told me, oh yeah, you're very welcome to come to work for us, So that was it. Eventually, thanks God, that I learned the business well enough to take different positions at different companies. I went to work for Zales Jewelers and another company from Los Angeles, which I don't even remember what the name of it is.
Oh, the one here on
Bazaar.
Yeah, that's sort of a famous place, a bazaar, a big store that was on.
But I was lucky to be hired as a manager, and there I developed my acumen to learn more until I knew enough in the business to contemplate going on business on my own. I ended up doing it to the extent that I opened my first store in Lawrence Expressway in Camino in Santa Clara, and then I opened another one in downtown in San Pedro Square in San Jose, and then I opened another one in Gilroy. And the one in Gilroy turned out to be a real good investment because I decided to keep that one only because I was there for 22 years. I ended up buying all the property around it, and it was a good decision. But I really, above everything else, I always thank God, because He really helped me all the way. I never thought that I had enough brains.
No, people keep asking us why we named the stores Esmeralda. Well, it wasn't my name, but when we were thinking of what to name the store, we just kept thinking, what is a beautiful jewel? And I think the emerald is so beautiful, and it's almost as valuable as a diamond. So we just named it Esmeralda Jewelers.
Well, basically one of the reasons why I named it Esmeralda is because at the time when I was on radio, there was a very famous, what do you call those novels like that they show on television?
Novela.
Novela. And it was called Esmeralda. And I thought that I would take advantage of the fact that Esmeralda was a well-known name, and I say, bingo, that's what I'm going to name it, Esmeralda, to take advantage of the promotion that Esmeralda was already a
Popularity,
well-known. Yeah. Una de las razones por las que me interesa a mí mucho hacer una descripción de cuando recién compramos esta casa, la mayoría de mis familiares o amigos me criticaron por comprar una casa fuera de la ciudad. Ahora esto está considerado ya dentro de todos los perímetros de la ciudad, pero en aquella época estábamos totalmente fuera de San José. Y me decían, ¿por qué fuiste a comprar una casa en un lugar tan desolado? Las calles no están ni pavimentadas y luego apenas hay gente viviente. Y sin embargo, y le digo, porque yo creo que es una buena oportunidad, por la razón de que en San Francisco no era imposible comprar por los precios. Y a mí se me hace muy cómodo el precio que están ofreciendo aquí. Así que, aunque esté un poco retirado y tenga que tomar el bus o lo que sea, creo que es muy conveniente hacer una buena inversión para mi familia, para criar a los hijos.
Yeah, our daughter used to have her horse boarded there on the corner of Story and Fleming, which is right close to our house. She could walk there, and it was very convenient. And then later on, they started building houses all over, and now that's all that we have, our houses. I know some of my friends too, they used to, their families had dairies over here, and of course all that is gone now too. They had a dairy on Story Road. So yeah, the dairy was probably near on Story Road, near where Capitol is now.
Yo nací en Tijuana, en el mero centro de la ciudad. Y la razón por la que nací en el mero centro de la ciudad es porque mi padre había sido matador de toros. Y cuando se retiró del toreo profesionalmente, entonces le dieron la administración de una de las primeras plazas de toros que construyeron en Tijuana. Allí fue donde yo me crié. O sea que yo desde muy chiquillo estuve expuesto al ambiente de la fiesta taurina. De allí seguí mi instinto de querer ser matador de toros. Desafortunadamente nunca logré obtener la alternativa, no simplemente fui un torero más entre el montón. Y eventualmente me dio por venirme a los Estados Unidos porque pensé que probablemente tendría mejor oportunidad de desarrollarme en la vida. En 1953 o 52, me parece que vine a San Francisco a visitar a mi hermana que vivía en Daly City, y ahí tuve la oportunidad de conocer en un fin de semana a la que es ahora mi esposa. Is one of the reasons why I decided to write a book about it's a sort of a biography. Is that this is the first book that I wrote, and I take a lot of pride because I submitted as an entering a contest in Mexico, that they were accepting scripts or novels or whatever, and I was very lucky to end up getting a contract with them. One of the biggest publishing companies in Mexico City, which was Contenido. Contenido is a publishing company it's like the
Reader's
Reader's
Digest.
Digest. And I was amazed. Matter of fact, I thought it was a joke because at that time I had my business in Gilroy, but I received this call from Mexico City saying that they were from Contenido, the publishing company. They had received the manuscript, my book, and that they offered me immediately to publish it on a condensed version, and they offered me $5,000 for the first 5,000 pesos for the first edition, and I thought it was a joke. So I thought it was somebody just calling me to play a joke on me. Anyway, I had a good friend of mine that was one of the greatest bullfighter painters in Mexico. Reynaldo Torres was a good friend of mine, and he used to do all the posters for the bullfights in Spain and Lisboa, Portugal, and Mexico. And when he saw the cover of my book, the one that I did, he was residing in Los Angeles. And he called me up and he says, "Rudy, let me design the cover for you." And I said, "Well, it'll be an honor." So this is the one that he did for me. And I always have Reynaldo en mi corazón because he was a good friend. We were friends since we were kids in Tijuana. And I'm still very grateful and hoping that he's resting in good peace with the Lord.
Time was really popular, the mambo.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to dance that all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was a very popular place, the Sun's Ballroom in Oakland, because even when I was living in San Francisco, most of my friends, they used to invite me to go over there. And that's how I ended up meeting this lady here.
Yeah.
Because, it was just one of those accidents.
And then the way we met too is when we had taken the train that day, and him and his friends, they lived in San Francisco at the time, and we all got on the same train, and then that's when we start talking to each other and all that. Then we got off the train and we got on the same bus because I was living with my girlfriend in the Mission District, and you were living in the Mission too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we all got on the bus too, the same bus. But at the time, it was really funny because, I thought I will never see them again. It's just a casual time. And then he kept saying, well, what my friend, my girlfriend that I was living with, her name was Esther. So he said, what's your name? And she said, it's Esther Williams. And then he says, what's your name? And I said, oh, I'm Elizabeth Taylor, And we were just kidding, And I thought, well, I'll never see them
When she
again.
asked my name, I said Rudolph Valentino.
Yeah. And then, of course, we met again at the Sweets Ballroom again, because we all used to go there. Yeah. So. Well, when I was a little girl, I went to a Longfellow school that's no longer there. It was on Julian Street, and I remember one year, I must have been like 1939, I'm not sure, but there was a big flood, and the Guadalupe River overflowed, and I remember my brother, he was a year and a half older than me. And he put me on his shoulders because the water was so high that that he thought he'd carry me home. I remember that because then the Guadalupe River at that time, they used to the name of that company, I keep forgetting it, Food Machinery. During the war, they used to build tanks for the war. And they used to try them out in the river there. I remember that very well. I went to St. Joseph's School afterwards. I started in 3rd grade. I went all through St. Joseph's School. Then I went to Notre Dame High School. Okay, I went to Notre Dame High School. And after Notre Dame, I thought, you know, I felt sorry for Mom because she was a single mom. And I wanted to help her out. So I thought, well, I'll just take a short course. Not a full college, you know, course, and I went to dental nurses school in San Francisco, and after I finished, I got a job in San Francisco in a dental lab, and because I became a dental technician, so I used to travel. I came back home to live with my mom, but I used to go to work in San Francisco every day. I'd get up like 5 o'clock in the morning to get the bus to the train station and then get on the train, and then when I got off the train I got another bus to go to work, and then I used to get off the bus and then get on the cable car because I worked at 450 Sutter Street. And during that time San Francisco was beautiful. I mean, you know, the 50s were great. It's a great time. You know, everybody dressed beautifully. You know, they weren't so casual as they are now. There wasn't that much crime, and it was a really good place to work. After we got married here at St. Joseph's Cathedral, which is, at that time it was just St. Joseph Church. Now it's the Cathedral Basilica. And we got married there in 1955, and we lived in San Francisco for 8 years, and after that we moved back to San Jose, and that's when we rented that house on 7th Street, and we lived there a couple of years until we bought this house that we're living now, and we've been here for over 51 years. In the 1950s, there was a big tardeada in Oakland at the Sweets Ballroom. And a lot of the people from San Jose, the ones that loved to dance, and at that time Latin music was really popular, we all used to go up there on Sunday afternoon to the tardeada. And they had a really, they always had a good band. They had famous people that went there. Even Maria Victoria was there too, and then of course the Montoya sisters sang there. Perez Prado. I can't even remember the other ones, but you know, it was a good place to go to have good, clean fun. All we did was just dance. That was it, dance, and. Well, it's where I met my husband.
Sí, yo nací, creo, en México. Y a la edad que vine, que fueran 18 años después de mi servicio militar en México, fue cuando yo vine aquí a Estados Unidos. Pero es una edad totalmente madura. A mí no madura, digo, una historia era muy juvenil. Cuando me invitaron a ir a la primera vez al Sweets Ballroom, claro que fui con mucha curiosidad. Y por la novedad de que en esa ocasión habían traído una orquesta de Nueva York, que ahorita no recuerdo cómo se llaman, pero eran muy conocidos. Y quería yo simplemente experimentar el ambiente. Y me fue muy agradable porque toda la gente se vestía bien. Y aunque todos éramos jóvenes, había un ambiente muy respetuoso y muy cordial. Cuando yo conocí a Lilia, en primer lugar que fue amor a primera vista, pero me quedé admirado yo de que encontré una mujer tan bonita y yo quedé francamente prendado de su belleza, ¿no? Pero de allí en adelante pues yo me tuve que regresar a México porque yo andaba por otro ambiente allá. Y después, cuando regresé a venirme a vivir definitivamente en los Estados Unidos, reinicié mi relación y la amistad con con la familia de ellos. Y me fue muy bien recibido. La señora, la mamá de Lilia, fue una mujer a la cual hasta la fecha la recuerdo con mucho cariño, porque siempre fue muy amigable conmigo y me recibió con los brazos abiertos. Igual que la abuelita. Los que les caí como patada fue a los hermanos, porque ellos no concebían que una mujer, su hermana tan bonita, se enamorara de un pobre cholo, me decían a mí el cholo, porque era de la Baja California. Y, y no podían aceptar eso, porque decían que podía ella tener mejores partidos. Pero pues el destino es el destino, ¿no? Y ni hablar. Eventualmente nos casamos y formamos una bonita familia, un bonito hogar. Y hasta la fecha aquí estamos disfrutando de lo que Dios nos concedió